Are you a Luminar user? Do you want to be a Luminar user? Well, you should be. Luminar is fantastic. You know, it's a great software for your photo editing. Stay tuned. I'm going to tell you about their latest, greatest update. And if you haven't bought Luminar yet, if you haven't purchased it for yourself, down in the description, click on that link. It'll take you through a buying process that will save you some money. That's what Camera Talk is all about. That's what modesty photography is all about, is saving you money. So sign up, get your Luminar, and right now we're at Luminar 4.3, and what I'm going to tell you about is, for those who already have the program, is some fantastic updates, some features that are really going to make a difference for those who complained about the program in the past. So stay tuned, and I'm going to tell you all about it. I'll be back in a sec.
Here I am, Vietnam.
Camera Talk with Dr. Scott. All right, this week, you know what we're talking about? Luminar. We've talked about Luminar already. Was it the Lightroom killer? Probably not. But Luminar is a great standalone editing tool for your photographs and whatever else you're doing in your photography habits. But this week, Luminar, which their parent company is Skylum, has released the latest version of their software. So this is version 4.3. And along with this version, I just want to update you with some of the features that come along with Luminar 3, Luminar 4.3. If you're a Luminar user, you're going to appreciate some of these features. If you're not yet a Luminar user, what are you waiting for, huh? I highly recommend that you use this software. It's a great piece of software for not very much money at all. And if you follow the link below, you'll get yourself a 10% discount on the overall cost. So with that said, let me launch off into some of the features that come along with this latest and greatest update. So this is modesty photography, and we're here to try and save you money, try and make things easier for you in the photography world. So that's what Camera Talk is all about. So let's get right into it. Luminar 4.3. First thing, one of the features that again they've improved upon is raw files. A lot of times when you're photo editing on simple stuff that you find in Microsoft comes along, you're using the various tools that come in there, and they're usually dealing with JPEGs, right? Well, Luminar software, lets you utilize your raw file feature in your camera, and historically they've been a little on the slow side opening up raw files, especially for those like me who don't have the latest greatest computer out there. It's a little older, but
We're so old!
but if it's not broke, why fix it, right? So I still use my older computer, but it now allows for the raw files to open up faster than they were before. And the other problem too with using an older PC is the fact that Luminar was kind of a memory hog, so it slowed down
I don't care!
everything else on my computer when I was trying to use it. So that was kind of a burden prior to this update. But with 4.3, the software is now using less of the memory, and therefore it should speed up the processes. Things like sliders, again, for those of you who are already familiar with photo editing tools, sliders for things like color or contrast or highlights and whatnot, clicking on the slider and dragging it back and forth in Luminar sometimes had been a little on the hesitant side. It would sometimes hang up and slow down and whatnot, so you had to kind of do it slowly. Now, this wasn't with everybody's computer, of course. If you got the latest, greatest computers, everything worked great. But for people like me who had older PCs, it definitely hung up a little bit on that regard. Our next update is the looks.
What are you looking at?
Now, what looks do, for those who aren't using Luminar yet, what looks do is they allow you to, it's almost like filters in Instagram or any of these other, platforms out there. They let you apply filters to your photo to add a vintage look or add a summer look or add a cool look or a blue or a desert or a Napa Valley, and all these various filters. So that's what the looks are in Luminar. And previously, before this release, you had to apply the filter to the photograph to see what the outcome was. So you'd have to click on it, wait for it to make the changes, and then it renders the final version, and you look at it, you decide if you want it or not.
You must tie her down on a bed and spank her.
Now they've changed it to the fact you hover your cursor over the specific look or the filter, and it applies it to the photo without you having to click on it. So that's a nice little feature update that should make a difference with some of the users out there. The next one is cropping and rotating your photo. So you want to change it from portrait to landscape, or whatever you want. You want to crop it in. Same thing. It used to be a little on the slow side to do that, and they've sped that up. It makes it easier to crop your photos in, or to rotate them various degrees, from landscape to portrait and so forth and so on. For those who use the brushing tool,
try Miracle Brush.
Another feature that they've added in is, in the past when you're adding a mask to your photograph and you use the brush tool and you brush over the red, it was a solid color red, so you couldn't see through it, so you didn't know if you were covering too far outside the line of the image that you're trying to mask or not. So now what they've done is they've taken that red color and they've made it transparent, so you can see through it and you can see where exactly you're masking, so you can stay closer to the edge of specific parts of the photograph that you want to mask. So that's a great tool as well. So far, even just the things I've mentioned are a wonderful update, right? Well, it doesn't stop there. Hold on. Wait a second here. It gets better.
Teach me not a thing. Can only get better.
AI, artificial intelligence, something that Luminar, it's what's really making its mark in the industry here with photo editing.
What does this action signify?
Their sky replacement is pretty cool the way it is. You can add different skies in there. If you got some boring sky, you've taken a landscape outside of, your girlfriend and her friends or something in the background, and you just have this blah sky. Well, they've had AI sky replacement for a while now. So you pull down the menu, you click on whatever sky you want, it adds it to it. But now it allows you to actually reposition the sky or even flip things, change up where things are in the sky. So is that cool or what? You can really manipulate the background, and it goes through trees and fences and all kinds of things. So it's a really artificially intelligent. It's a great part of the software.
I was born yesterday.
One of the features they've added to this one is one they call the space shuttle. So you can have the space shuttle launching off on something. How often you would actually use that is questionable. Hopefully those out there are not going to just put the space shuttle in everything. For one thing, the space shuttle is an obsolete craft these days.
Sayonara.
It might be nice to have in there somewhere if you got a picture of Cape Canaveral or something and you want to, get the space shuttle in the background as a complement to that photograph in particular. But I don't see it being utilized all that often. So anyway, moving on down the list, the next one is being able to upload straight to 500px, which is a photo platform for those who don't know. It's almost like an Instagram kind of thing. You can upload, or a Flickr, those places where you can put your photographs out there for other people to see. So you don't actually have to have a membership.
What you talking about, Will?
In 500px, you just use your Luminar login to upload straight to 500px. So that's nice. And last but not least is the camera updates.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like all photo editing software, they're geared towards certain cameras that are loaded into their programs, right? And with each additional update, such as 4.3, Luminar, they've added new ones. So for Canon, they've added the EOS DSLR camera, the one DX Mark II. It recognizes those files. Fujifilm, there's a number of them. The Fujifilm 100V, I think it's 100V. Hold on, let me check. I just want to make sure. Don't want to lie to you about what that is.
I can't lie.
Yeah, 100V. Try to do this by memory is not easy. So 100V, the XT200, the XT4 are all Fujifilm. Leica, the SL2, Nikon Coolpix P950, the Z780, or sorry, D780, the Z50, Olympus PL10, Panasonic. Again, I gotta read in here. My eyes are not that great, The Panasonic S1H, and last but not least is the Sony A9 Mark II. So those are the camera updates for Luminar 4.3. So if you have any of those cameras, and you'd been using Luminar in the past, obviously you had issues with being able to upload your files and use them appropriately. But the wonderful staff at Skylum has been working hard to engineer that part of the program to be able to accept these cameras and their files. So anyway, so that's pretty much all I really wanted to get at this week about about Luminar, is their update of 4.3, because I'm a Luminar user, so I wanted to share that with the world. And as I said, I highly recommend using Luminar. It's Lightroom's great and everything. Photoshop is all wonderful, and Luminar is a plugin for Photoshop and whatnot. You can use them hand in hand with that. But as a standalone software, it's also great, all by itself. So I highly recommend that if you don't use it now, spend the I think it's like $80 or something with the discount. If you page down to the description area, I put a link in there where you can purchase Luminar 4 for a discount from there. If you use that link. So anyway, long story short, Luminar 4.3, it's a great update. It's free for those who already have Luminar. There's no additional cost for that. And as I said, going through the list of different features, it's a lot for what you get. Your bang for the buck. So that's pretty much all I have for you this week. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button.
Smash it. That's something that you're into.
And we'll see you in the next video when it comes out. All right? So have yourself a great week. Have yourself a great weekend. Remember, you belong here. And I will see you next time. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
That's all, folks.
Here I